everybody, and welcome to Double Feature Day on We Watch Shudder. I'm going to have to do that at the beginning of both of these so people don't feel like they got left out. It's Double Feature Day. We got two movies to talk about today here on We Watch Shudder. For those of you who may be just tuning in for the first time, what we do here, Michelle and I, wow, I didn't even give you your introduction. Man, I've had a day, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just skip the formalities. Let's get right into therapy. We're not even going to talk about movies. Work was terrible today, you guys. I had a real awful experience involving a sort of past relationship that almost was and then wasn't, and it was real. Then it just came back into my life all of a sudden for no reason. It's been a day. Who's here with me?
It's Michelle, but I'm wondering if I want to be. I was so excited, and now I'm scared.
I'm fine. It'll be fine. I have these wonderful movies to talk. So what we do here, Michelle and I, on We Watch Shudder, besides have near nervous breakdowns, is we talk about movies on Shudder, hence the name. Shudder puts out, we do, and then we talk about it. That would have been a weird name for the podcast. We talk about Shudder. I'm glad we didn't go with that option.
This is great, because I imagine we're going to get new people from this, and they're going to be like, what?
Who are these weirdos?
Hello, welcome.
So we talk about, Shudder puts out a regular array of original and exclusive content, and that's what we talk about here. And it just so happens that this week, they put out two, not one, but two original and or exclusive titles. What's the first one we're talking about, Michelle?
The first one we're talking about is This Is GWAR.
This is GWAR! Oh my God, I've been waiting for this movie for so long. Some of you already know immediately what this movie is. It's a documentary about GWAR. And if you don't know who GWAR is, shut this stupid fucking podcast off. Go home, and you're probably already at home. Bring up the Googles and change your fucking life. All right? Go find out about GWAR right now, then come back and listen to us. I mean, if you're listening to us now, I have to believe you already know who GWAR is. Holy shit. I was really excited about this movie. Michelle, how much did you know about GWAR? Like, what was your experience with GWAR before going into this movie?
I'm going to give you my spoiler-free thoughts on this documentary because they are hand in hand because they are the same answer.
Awesome.
I knew nothing about GWAR.
What?
I knew that they were a heavy metal band. I did not know about the costumes. I did not know how much they were ingrained in pop culture references that I knew, like the Beavis and Butthead Sega game, which I played and did not know that was about GWAR because I don't remember it.
It sure was.
I had zero, maybe like 1% knowledge of GWAR, and I think what makes a good documentary is when you are informative and give information that cannot be attained anywhere else. And that happened, and oh my God, it was life-changing, and this is a 5 out of 5 skull movie, and I love it so much, and now I'm very into GWAR.
Yeah.
I learned. I had no idea.
That's basically what GWAR has. One of two effects on people. GWAR is the definition of polarizing, right?
Yes.
You either fucking hate it or you fucking love it, and if you fucking hate it, you're wrong. This is just you're right. This is a 5 skull documentary. This is fantastic.
Of course.
It is an incredibly well-told story. It goes deep into the details and history of this band like nothing I have ever seen before. They get some, frankly, pretty surprising interviews out of the people involved in GWAR. There are a couple of people in this movie who I am really surprised decided that's how they were going to present themselves to their fan base. That was really interesting. We'll talk about that. But overall, a very strong documentary, super cool stories, a great portrait of this absurd, awesome, legendary performance art thing that is GWAR. I loved it. 5 Skulls, so great.
Awesome.
Go watch it now if you haven't seen it yet, and then come back and listen to us talk about it in detail, right?
And spoiler section, go!
So here's the thing, right? I have seen GWAR live. I want to say 7 or 8 times. This is why, honestly, that it kind of surprises me you didn't really know anything about GWAR. I'm pretty sure the last time I saw GWAR was here in Fargo, and I'm pretty sure our mutual friend Aaron was at that show with me. And
You are correct.
It surprises me
You are correct.
that just through that association. GWAR, I first discovered GWAR as a kid, like maybe 10, 11 years old. I just randomly picked up a rock and roll heavy metal magazine off the magazine rack at the grocery store. And I was paging through it, and right there, all of a sudden, in the middle of the magazine was just this full-page splash picture, because they used to do that in the magazines, the music magazines back in the 80s. It basically just, mini posters that you could tear out and put on your wall. Mm-hmm. And it was GWAR. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Right? Like, oh my God. Like there's like these monsters and they play music. I thought it was like, immediately I was like, oh my God, this is straight from the devil, and I can never let my parents even know I saw this. It might as well have been fucking pornography, right? It was incredible, and it just became this thing in the back of my mind for a long time, until I finally got to hear their music, and then I knew their music for a while, and I had seen one of their movies, Skullhead Face, which they talk about in here. I'm sure we'll get to that. But then I finally saw them live, and GWAR live is the most incredible fucking thing. It's an utter disaster, and anyway, so that's my history with GWAR. Let's talk. I'm sorry, I got a little carried away there.
No, it's okay. I knew you would.
This movie really brings out the passion in the GWAR fans. So tell us about your experience then through the movie. This is going to be the way more interesting part of this. Tell us all about it.
You had said you weren't sure if we would have a lot to talk about, and I was like, oh, I have lots to say, because the very first note I took is just "what" in big letters.
Yep.
I had no idea, and I usually find documentaries about people very boring, especially if those people are still alive, because they're doing it usually in somewhat of a positive light. I did not expect, first off, to find out anything about what the actual band is all about.
Right.
I had no idea that this existed and was a thing. And on top of that, I lost my train of thought. Hang on. Oh, but no, this, like, the humanity that they brought forth in these people talking about one another, and like one guy giving his perspective of why he's not friends with everybody else, and then the other guy crying because he thought he was one of his best friends. I was so drawn into these people and how much I love them as human beings. When they got to the part, spoiler alert, where they talk about Odorous dying, I cried, and I had never known. I had no idea. This is such amazing storytelling, and it brought me in. And I will say, I don't like concerts. They horrify me. I'm 5'2". I get jostled a lot, and I became obsessed after the Travis Scott crowd crushing incident. I watched a lot of stuff about crowd crushing, and I will probably never go to a fully packed venue ever again. It's like my nightmare. I hate it. I don't like being surrounded by a lot of people touching me, and I would still consider it to go to a GWAR show.
Yeah, it is. I can tell you, again, having been to, like I said, I lost count 7 or 8 times. It is sheer insanity. I have been, as they say in the movie, like if you're foolish enough to get right down there near the front, you're gonna get destroyed. They talk about how like it's a thing for people to just come in with like a brand new, clean, pristine white T-shirt. I was that guy. I've done that, and you come out and it is pitch black, like purple, just saturated. The water they use is, I don't know where it comes from. It's very cold, but like you get just blasted in the face. The pressure tanks that they show you at the beginning of this movie, the pressure that shit comes out at is really kind of surprising that they can get away with it. It's
I have to talk about the pressure tanks because, like I said, I knew nothing. So the very first scene is them talking about the hoses, and we've had to take water from toilets before, and I'm like, oh, what is the water used for? That's weird. And so immediately I'm like, what is this all about? And they're like, yeah, and then you can really get them covered in blood. And I'm like, what is going on? And then they start talking about the props and the costuming, and I'm also like a huge theater nerd, so I respect
Oh
them
yeah,
so much for that, on top of my love of like I'm just like mind blown, and I will watch this several times, and I will probably go seek out GWAR content now, and I'm it like changed my life. I love this documentary so
yeah,
much.
yeah. GWAR is an incredible thing, and one thing I do really like is again, like you said, um, at least to my knowledge, and I'm certainly not the foremost expert, but I know quite a bit. This is GWAR with the curtain pulled back more than anyone has ever seen before. So
Yes.
like for that experience and like honestly, I think there are a lot of people who call themselves GWAR fans who are maybe gonna be the kind of people who are like, "What the fuck is this?" Kind of reaction to this movie, because it's very emotional and it's very
Hmm.
much about love and it's about a bunch of people who just they knew they were never going to be normal and they all got united behind this just fucking absurd passion project that ends up being this phenomenon that just has managed to simmer along for 30 odd years now. Just enough for nobody's making it. That's the crazy part about this to me is you see the show that they make and you think, oh shit, these guys must be just raking in the cash, right? No, they've been doing this for 30 years. They're all still. I mean, I'm sure they're making an okay living, but it's the level. This is an awesome movie if you love just stories about passion and art and integrity and having fun. They talk about in here. This is a thing I didn't even know. I didn't know Metal Blade Records lost their deal with Warner Brothers because Warner Brothers wouldn't take GWAR, and Metal Blade said, well, then we're not coming. That's madness and so
That's
fucking cool.
That's one of the comments or the notes that I had made. I made very few because I was so interested in
Yeah.
watching this, and I knew you were going to show up with topics that I would then say a lot about. Because one of the things is I I knew nothing about GWAR. Now I know a lot, and I love them. But I could see this being something that even the biggest GWAR fan learns something,
Oh,
because there's no
absolutely.
way that they have put together these interviews in this way of storytelling in any other format like this.
Oh, yeah.
This is such a brand new look at this band, and also like a brand new look for a brand new band for me. And now I like both aspects of it. But
Hmm.
I thought it was so informative and just really brings you into who they are as people. I was amazed when they won a Grammy and then didn't just have infinite amounts of money for the rest of their life. I didn't know that was a
Well,
thing. I have
to be
no
fair,
concept.
they didn't win the Grammy. They were nominated for a Grammy.
Sorry, yes,
But
but
and
still, like, in that, it what?
even that story is just like, oh, so you just see the look on his face the minute he said it. He's like, yeah, they invited us to come out for the ceremony because we were nominated. But they told us not to bring the costumes. Of course they brought the costumes. What are you
Yep.
talking? You're gonna tell GWAR to not bring the costumes? What are you out of your mind? Give me a break. That's why. Why else would you have them? And of course they
There's
caused a scene, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
just so many stories there's so many little stories in here that on their own are interesting. The guy
yes.
getting shot
Yeah,
and how his friends stayed
I
with
had
him.
no fucking idea that ever happened. Oh my god, that was intense.
Yes, and how they had like PTSD afterwards. Like when they start getting into those stories, it's so just the people who put this together, you can tell they already love these people
Oh yeah.
and they wanted to show who they are, and I love it. I need to go see more of what the documentary makers have made as well, because
Hmm.
now seeing how they put together this, I want to see their perspective on a lot of other things. I love this so much.
Yeah. And I do gotta say, let me ask you a question here.
Hmm.
Uh, how do you feel that Mr. Techno Destructo Hunter Jackson came off in this movie?
Came off. What do you mean?
Like, what was your impression of him by the
Oh,
time
my
this movie was
impression.
done?
I Oh, I don't think they painted him in the best positive light, but I feel like if his friends accept him back, he can't be a total piece of shit.
Right. I was gonna say again, yes, I do. You have to hasten to point out that again, this is not our story in any means,
Hmm.
and the end of the story is they have put their past behind them and they're back together and working together. So all respect to that, but at the same time, like if that's the case, like some it's a weird reaction because some of the things this guy said then on camera in these interviews are like respectably honest about his thoughts, but
Yeah.
also like I didn't I don't know how much I could possibly like that guy. And it was really weird to me that he was willing to present himself that way in this movie. Again, respectably honest, but I don't know how many people are going to come away with the best impression of him from that, even in the light of the mending of their relationship, which they do talk about, but again they don't really spend a lot of time on. I thought
Hmm.
that was very interesting because for the longest time I thought they were painting a really interesting portrait of just this weird creative back and forth, and then it just took a turn for the I fucking hated that guy. Why would I go to his funeral? And that just kind of surprised me. I don't know.
And I didn't take it that way. I didn't take it in his words as like, I hated him, so I didn't go to his funeral. He was like, I didn't have to go. I said what I needed to say. Like, I can see people breaking off in that way and not having to despise the other person.
I mean,
So
he literally says
his,
in the movie, I hated that guy.
did he?
Yeah, he said, I hated that guy. Why would I go to his funeral?
Oh, I think I'm mixing up my parts of the movie that I'm thinking of because there was
Which
another part where he said I said all I had to say, and I thought
that
that
was
was
right
in
after.
regards to the
Yeah, that was
funeral.
part of the same
Oh, but
interview. But
first,
yeah,
gotcha.
I just thought it was, and again, their bygones are bygones, so it's whatever. I just
Hmm.
thought, man, that was kind of brutally honest, and I wasn't really
Yeah.
ready for it. But yeah, this is I loved every bit of this movie. It was really really well done. It's a really well told
Hmm.
story. It's a great, interesting story. GWAR, it should of course be noted. I mean, this is a horror movie podcast, and GWAR does a lot of really aggressive, violent, sometimes yes, controversial things. But I
What?
think
The
it
raping the priest part? I would show children that.
right, but
That was.
I honestly, and I mean, everybody's got their outlook on things. Some people will definitely think I'm wrong here, but I think they're a prime example of how you can, like, it's definitely still not going to be acceptable for everybody, but a way where you can delve into those places and walk those lines and still manage to not be a complete piece of shit, if that's I mean, do you understand what I'm trying to say there? I think.
I know exactly what you're trying to
Yeah.
say because, yeah, other people could do that same thing and it would come off as like, wow, you're a shitty person.
Right.
But they do it and it's like, oh, this is loving.
Like I think if I remember correctly, I think there was a period of time where they killed Caitlyn Jenner in their act on stage, but it had nothing to do with Caitlyn Jenner being trans. It just had everything to do with Caitlyn Jenner being everywhere in the news that year, because that's what they do, right? Is
Hmm.
they're just destroying what's being talked about right now. And the sexual aggression there are, and I'll even say there I've heard and seen things at GWAR shows that at times I was like, oh, okay, guys, all right, maybe scale it back a little bit. There's one joke that was told on stage in particular that I will never repeat in polite company ever again, that I was just like, oh, even for me that was a little much. But yeah, overall, just really savage, aggressive skewering of pop culture and like insane socio-political ideas in just a Weird Al loves GWAR. You can't look
I
if
had
Weird
so
Al
many
loves
questions about
GWAR.
that.
I think that's the final endorsement you need, right?
Yeah, when they started it and they put Weird Al in there and he was saying that he like them, essentially. I don't remember how he starts off,
Right.
but I think they put that in there for people like me who are like, I don't know them.
Right.
I know Weird Al, and he seems like a nice person, and he's endorsing them, so I will hear them out.
Yeah.
And then I think it acts as a bridge of like, okay, you probably know Weird Al. He's a fun guy, right? Now what do you think about these these
Yeah.
other people? And for me, it worked because I was like, oh, these other people I like GWAR, so I will listen.
Yeah,
Okay.
Weird Al was the perfect ringing endorsement for this movie, and I'm so glad that they got him yet again. So I had no idea Weird Al, like, obviously, like, from the interviews, it's not necessarily clear that, like, I'm not saying it, like, Weird Al is just a crazy GWAR fan and loves the band to death, but Weird Al clearly appreciates and respects GWAR, and I think that speaks volumes for the nature of what they do.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it worked for me. I got his endorsement and I agreed with it and I love it and I love GWAR now, and that's a very weird revelation to
GWAR
come
will
to.
never sell out. It was so
Oh.
weird for me in a lot of ways to see all of these guys like out. The only one of these people I have ever seen completely out of makeup was Dave Brockie, right? Because he was the guy who also like did a lot of media and interviews for the band because he was the guy who was out front. And so like that was so odd in a lot. Like their drummer is such a like a Rivers Cuomo Weezer looking dude with his like horn rimmed emo glasses and shit. It was so weird, but I loved it. It was great.
That reminds me, I did write down one criticism.
Oh no.
I wish that at the very end, when they were stating what everybody does now, that they had slowed down because I was trying to read it and some of it was very fast. And I really wanted to know more about these people and the prop work they're doing. And the one guy's in Rise Against. What? I wanted to read about all that and like make mental notes of go look into this. And it went by too fast. And that's my only criticism. Everything else I love. But I guess I have to knock it down to like a 2 skull out of 5 because of the end credits.
Please.
Too fast. So good.
Yeah,
It's
this
so good.
movie's fantastic, guys. If you know GWAR and you love GWAR, this is a movie that you are going to cherish for a long time. If you don't know GWAR, this movie will absolutely blow your hair back, as we can clearly see. I can't give it a higher recommendation. This is one of my favorites we've talked about so far.
And honestly, going into it with no knowledge, this is one of my favorite documentaries of all time. It was so entertaining, and I love it. And I probably will never go to a GWAR concert because that sounds like a nightmare. I might go and stand in the back, but
here's the thing: that GWAR show that I went to with Aaron all those few years ago.
Yep.
We were in the VIP booth.
Oh my God, that sounds horrible. You probably got extra liquid. I don't want to be covered in liquid.
No, it's like a second level thing. Like we were like a balcony VIP.
Okay, I would do that.
So no, they were just shooting everybody down below and didn't bother blasting us up there in the booth. It was pretty great.
Okay, I love that.
Although
I don't
to be
get
fair, if you're
going to
go see GWAR, you need to get the full GWAR experience of just getting absolutely. Look, there's 3 different liquids, right? There's the red blood. There's the black. It's actually kind of a dark purple vomit, and then there's the bright green alien semen. And you're going to get blasted hard in the face with all 3 of them. And it's like a bizarre religious experience. I remember seeing GWAR at the venue when it was still Playmakers, and it still just had the big cement floor, and they didn't have all the tables or anything. And at the end of the show, there was so much water and shit collected on the floor that people were running around and just like diving down onto the floor slip and slide style to like swim through the GWAR muck. It is an overwhelming sensory experience in every way. It's a living horror movie, and it's so fucking fun.
You're convincing me I do not want to go.
Oh, come on. You have to go.
We'll see. If we looked and GWAR is not going to be in our area anytime soon, so I guess maybe in a couple of years, if they're touring, I'll come around to it. But I don't know. Being covered in liquid, that sounds like a lot.
Oh, it is. It's a lot, but it's so fun. Guys, go watch This Is GWAR. It's a fantastic documentary. Say goodnight, Michelle.
Good night, Michelle.